Hello, hello, hello. I am Zakiya Monique, Master Relationship Strategist, Transformational Speaker, Best-selling author of Killer Connections, and I want to know who you are. So if you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are family here. We're talking about a tough topic tonight, y'all. So let me give y'all my disclaimer. Y'all know I told y'all I love y'all. Let me tell y'all now I love you. And I want to take a moment to invite you to the safe space. If you're not already a member, come on to the safe space, bit.ly/ZM safe space, which is a place where you can kickstart your healing process and there is no financial obligation. I won't say it's free because it's not. It's going to cost you time and commitment to work on yourself, but you are worth it. You are worthy of a change, and we absolutely want you to come and you to get healed. Okay. We talk about rejection. We talk about so many things, soul ties. I have a plethora of information. So it's nothing that, I don't care who you are. Some people say, well, I don't need healing. I have a healthy relationship. You may have a healthy relationship, but there are some things sometimes that still trigger us. Right. And I just talked to my group about triggers and how nobody should have to tiptoe around you, because you triggered, right? So there's always room for improvement. And so that's exactly what we do right here at the safe space, bit.ly/ZM safe space, or you can go to www.ZM safe space. Either one will get you there. So get there. That's what's most important, is that you just get there, get there, get there, get there. ZM safe space. So tonight, we are talking about family or not. Family or not, when do we cut them off? And what made me even start talking about this topic is because everybody is always talking about cutting off family. Everybody's always talking about cutting off family. And then, we have the differences of people saying, well, no, you can't cut them off because that's family. You can't cut them off because that's family. And let me tell you, we're going to start off with a few things here because y'all know I'm a teacher. Okay. I'm a teacher by trade. So I'm naturally going to give you some titles and some definitions and things, and then we're going to go into it. So first and foremost, one of the reasons that many of us need to heal is family. Okay, if we can just be quite honest. And when I say family, I'm talking about all of your relatives, not just the people you live with. But let's talk about what the definition of family is. Family is, by definition, I looked these up. Okay, I looked these up. Family is a group of one or more parents and their children living together as a unit. Or family is all of the descendants of a common ancestor. Or family is a group of two or more persons related by birth, marriage, or adoption who live together. So ultimately, whichever one you choose, whatever definition you choose is fine. Okay, it's fine with me. But what I want you to understand is when I'm talking about family, I may say the word family when I'm talking about everybody, but in my personal life, family in my personal life is those that I share relationship with. Relatives are those that I share kinship with. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Family, I share relationship with. Relatives, I share kinship with. Two totally different things. All right, two totally different things. And I think that when we start to understand this, then we're not having our feelings hurt so much. So once again, family, I share my relationships. My relationships with. Relatives, I share kinship with. With family, I share my life. With relatives, I share my origin. I used to say bloodline, but I don't even say that no more. Because there's some things off my bloodline I'll be breaking off. That we ain't doing that, right? So that's what I mean when I say family. Now, you can choose your own definition of family, but let's be clear. As surely as the world continues to embrace diversity and various other freedoms, somebody is going to make a different decision than you are or you can appreciate, okay? Surely somebody's going to make a different decision than you can appreciate. All right. What does that mean? That means it's going to be something that somebody in this group does that rubs you the wrong way. Whether it's changing religions or churches, or marrying somebody that don't nobody like, or declaring a different sexual orientation than you were born with, or moving away from where most of the family lives, or becoming, something different than what you thought they would be. So you thought they were going to be a doctor and they decided they didn't want to be a doctor. Refusing to join the family business. going to a different college or deciding I don't want to go to college after everybody else done graduated. I don't want to do that, right? Ultimately, sometimes somebody gonna do something different in the family, in the group. Okay, somebody's gonna do something differently. And why does this rub us the wrong way? I want to share this with you. Let me lay this foundation. I promise you it'll be good to you. One of the reasons why this rubs us the wrong way is because of our expectations. We tend to think that our definition of family is everybody's definition of family, and it is not. I just told you that my definition of family is those that I share relationship with. I'm not in relationship with everybody that my cousins and all of that, second and third cousins. Some of them, I don't even know some of them people. I don't even know some of them. Just being honest. When you get to go on second and third and fourth cousins, bro, hey, hi, hey, nice to meet you. And it ain't nothing, I ain't trying to get to know them, but it's just once a family gets so big, after a while, it's only so many people that you deal with. So many people that you rock with in a certain way. So you can't expect that your definition of family is going to be the same definition of family that everybody holds, because they don't. They don't. Just like we don't rock with everybody the same, right? So one of the issues that we have is expectations. We cannot expect everybody to have our same definition of family. We also can't expect everybody to go to the same lengths for a family that we will go. Some of us out here talking about we'll lay down our lives for family, and other folks like, nah, not me. You better not get in trouble. And then you devastated, but they never told you that they would lay down their life for you. They never told you that they was going to bail you out of jail. They never told you they was going to be there for you when you got jumped. Some people just don't believe in that. Okay, so you got to be clear on what the definition is. Now, see, the people I rock with, my fave, I know how he gonna roll for me, and I'm gonna roll for him. We just know that. The people that I roll for, I know how they're gonna roll for me. We got that established. So we can't be afraid to get clarity. We can't be afraid to get clarity in our relationships. But the reason why we don't want to get clarity in our relationships is because we scared we're gonna get our feelings hurt. But if you don't get clarity, you're gonna get your feelings hurt anyway. All right. So we tend to think that everybody has the same definition of family and as we do, and they don't. A second issue with expectations is we tend to think that because we are a family, we will do the same things, we will stay in the same boundaries, and when somebody breaks that, we feel like they're leaving us or changing on us or things will never be the same. And let me tell you something. When people say things will never be the same, what if they were better? We automatically assume that when somebody say things will never be the same, that they're going to be worse. No, sometimes it's better. What's wrong with that? Right? See, on my father's side, we're the Anna Cooper family circle. Okay, we have a whole name, everything. Family choir, all that. And at one time, everybody used to go to the same church, right? Everybody went to the same church because the family was not as large, right? So everybody went to the same church. As the family began to expand and people started going off to college and get married and doing other things, then and learning their gifts and talents as well, because you got to understand that if this family is band together, they pray together and all of that, then eventually you're going to have some anointed people that come up out of that family, right? And so what ends up happening is you have some who are anointed to sing, and some were anointed to preach, and some were anointed to teach. And you got different people that are anointed, and people started leaving the church, and it got ugly. Because the family was always known for going to the same church. But we talk about expectations here. Did we really think that everybody was going to stay at the church? Did we really think that? When God started dispatching us out to the world, people felt like we were leaving the family if we left the church. So when certain people left the church, folks got mad. I mean, was mad, was devastated, was hurt. Because they felt like you were leaving the family, but it wasn't that you were leaving the family. You were going off to serve the Lord. And one day we were at a Kwanzaa meeting, and we used to, we have Kwanzaa sessions. And I was at a Kwanzaa session. And I asked the question. I said, "Did we really believe? Like, if we are as anointed as we say we are, if we're as appointed as we say we are, if we're as graced as we say we are, did we really think that God was going to leave all of us in one church in Romulus, Michigan, because we connected by origin?" Did we really think that he was going to put all that talent, all them gifts, and leave us all at one church? Absolutely not. God is going to dispatch us out into the world to accomplish his glory, because guess what? That's what it was all about in the first place. Now, what if we had that expectation in the beginning? What if we expected God to dispatch us out? What if we expected to be trained up and then to leave and to carry the gospel? What if we expected that? Then some people's feelings wouldn't have been hurt. Or maybe some people who felt that nudge from God that were scared and didn't leave because they didn't want to be shunned, maybe they would have gone out and taken their gifts and talents to the world. Didn't mean that we can't come back and visit. Didn't mean we can't come back and celebrate it, but it means we have an assignment. And if we're honest about our families, I'll tell you about mine, but if we're honest about our families, some of us have done the same thing. When somebody didn't do what we expected them to do, they were shunned. They were hurt. They were cast away because you didn't do what we wanted you to do. You didn't go to school like we expected you to go to school. You didn't stay at the church like we expected you to stay at the church. You said you were gay and we didn't expect that. Or whatever it was, they moved outside of the boundary of what you thought family should be and you punished them or somebody punished them, right? So they're ostracized and shunned. And then all the other people see that happen and guess what they'll do? They'll say, I don't want to be shunned, so I just won't say nothing, or I won't go, or I won't answer the call of God. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. So we need to accept the fact that your children ain't going to do everything you want them to do the way you want them to do it. Just accept it now. We need to accept the fact that your parents may have to be reminded to stop swerving and stay in their lane when it comes to parenting your children, because they're going to try to tell you, well, I ain't do that to you. Hey, bruh, this is not me, okay? God said to honor our parents, but he also said, provoke thou not the child. I'm going to need some of y'all to stop, to start reading the rest of it, right? Because we tend to stop reading at that one part that it say, provoke thou not the child. No, keep reading the whole thing. Your siblings are sometimes going to act half-cocked crazy because though they lived in the same house as you, they did not have the same experience as you, and that's okay, unless they experience something that's totally a fairy tale. Then we got, we probably got to get some help. But we all know that as children, we get different versions of the same parents because they deal with us differently. And they need to. If we're really honest, they need to deal with us differently because they recognize different parts of themselves in us. They recognize different things in us, different traits in us, and they need to parent us accordingly. For us to think that a parent is supposed to parent all their children the same is very unrealistic, and we need to check that at the door. You need to, your uncles and aunties, they're going to have to be reminded that you grown now, even though you 40, 50 years old, because they still see you as little so-and-so. I ain't little so-and-so no more. I'm going to need you to bring it on up. Your grandparents may be stuck in their ways and expect you to stick around too, even if it didn't serve them well in what they were stuck in. Your cousins may have to be reminded that because you got best friends, that don't mean that it ain't no room for them. Because, some of them cousins can be a little territorial sometimes because it used to just be y'all at grandma's house, at auntie house for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so when you start hanging with your best friends, you acting funny. No, I'm not acting funny. I just have other relationships. But it's okay, cuz I still love you the same and we still can hang. I don't subscribe to no new friends, so don't put that on me, sir, ma'am. Don't put that on me. Okay? However deep your family roots go in relationship, we have to stop expecting family to be perfect and to know us well, even though they have known certain aspects of us for a long time, but things and people change. Maybe not your whole core, but baby, hear me clearly. Somebody say, get off my toes. Hear me clearly. Things and people change. Maybe not the whole core or being, but baby, if you think I'm the same as I was at 10, if you expect me to be the same as I was at 19, quiet as a skep if you think I'm the same as I was earlier this week. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Mo. Oh, okay, I got to look carried away. Like, you got to get to know me again. Okay, because when you allow God to work in your life, you be like, hey, I might not be the same as I was at 8 o'clock this morning. When you let him have his way, I'm just saying. So number one, the first reason why it rubs us the wrong way when somebody goes to a different church, when somebody goes to a different school, when somebody decides not to go to college, when somebody declares that they gay, when somebody says something that is off of what we think family should be and do, the reason why it messes us up, it rubs us the wrong way is because of our expectations. And let me be the one to tell you that you are responsible. You are responsible. I am responsible. We are responsible for properly investing our own expectations, not based on what we want, but based on what what the reality is, based on what they've shown us. Not based on what they told us, based on what we want, but based on what they've shown us. We're responsible for that. Okay? So number one, it bothers us because of our expectations. Number two, admiration. Admiration. I'm coming on down the block of so many of those in our culture. Because our culture and community as a whole were not taught to express admiration well. So when somebody has the courage to get up and say, I'm not going to do what everybody else in the family has done, I'm going to go to college and graduate because I want to be the first one with this. I want to be the first one to break the barrier here. And maybe they're breaking it so that the ones that's coming behind them let them know it's safe. I trailblazed it. But why you mad? Oh, you mad because you really admired them, because you really wanted to do the same thing, but you didn't have the courage to do it. And so instead of you saying, I admire you, I'm proud of you, I'm rooting for you, you'll say, she ain't gonna graduate. Her marriage, girl, she gonna get divorced like everybody else. Instead of rooting for the trailblazer, you mad because you feel like they left you behind. Because in their successes, you see your failures. Let's just go and call a spade a spade. All you around here doing was gossiping and talking about folks. That's why they left you behind. Deal with it. Deal with it. It's your own fault that you ain't get up and do something with yourself, because you could have did the same thing. We get the same 24 hours, the same 7 days, Lord willing. And so you didn't get up and do anything, and they got up and did something. Congratulate them. Stop hating. Stop hating. But oh no. We'll sit up and gossip and talk about them, but that's the reason why you stuck in the place you in right now. That's why you still stuck. Because ain't nobody paying for your gossip. At least if you gonna gossip, get paid. But oh no, you a gossip and won't even get paid for it. And dog this person out. And the whole time, this person over here grinding and doing what they got to do for themselves. All because you admired them. And you don't know how to say, I'm proud of you. I'm rooting for you. Help me. Can you help me? We don't know how to humble ourselves and ask for help. No. And we need to teach our children to give compliments instead of seeing somebody's success as a personal challenge, because the crab in the barrel mentality has caused one crab to get out and get on. They get on. They like, bye. Why? Because they dogged her when she got pregnant out of wedlock, but they didn't congratulate her when she married the father. But they dogged her when she got pregnant, but then when she married him, no, they ain't congratulated her. Because they dogged her when she had to take a break from college to work, but they never congratulated her when she, got the degree. Because they dogged her when she gained 50 pounds and she was utterly depressed, but never congratulated her when she took responsibility for her health and lost to 75. The crabs in the barrel mentality will make you focus on the negative to make you feel better about where you aren't in life. But you have the power to make better decisions. We are all in the information age carrying around $1,500 smartphones and asking the craziest questions. We have information at our fingertips more now than we ever have before. I remember when we used to have to walk to the library to see a set of encyclopedias to do our homework. Nowadays, these kids can do their homework off their smartphone. So how is it that we can't figure out how to do something? How? But you can figure out everybody else's business. You can figure out what everybody else got going on. Well, the time that you're taking to figure out what everybody else got on and what they was doing at the BET Awards and all of that type of stuff, you can take that same time and make some better decisions for yourself. Deposit more in your future. But if you choose not to do that, that's okay. You can do what you want to do. I always tell people, do what works for you. But baby, on the other side of doing what works for you are the consequences, good or bad. And so because somebody else chose to turn off the TV, because somebody else chose to spend some time studying, or because somebody else chose a different route and a different path and it got them the success that they wanted, don't hate. Congratulate. Sometimes we admire the person who had the courage to change when we didn't, and we need to learn how to be honest about that. And the third reason why we have a problem when somebody in our family does something different than what we decide or what we consider family to be is triggers. Oh, we take it personal. Even though they ain't do it to us, they did it for them. So you got to understand, sometimes people do stuff for them. It ain't against you, it's for them. Total difference. If I make a decision that's best for me, I'm not trying to do it against you, but because of your triggers, you took it personal. Then the family don't do no justice, because after you clown and act the fool, they say that's just how she is. And really, the truth of the matter is, when somebody say that's just how she is, they have given up on your change. Don't say that about me. We have to stop accepting that. I don't care if that's how she been to everybody else. I don't care if that's how she been before. She can change. She can change. And I don't care if she been like that to everybody else. She gonna respect me or she gonna expect me. You understand what I'm saying? 8 to 80, I don't care who it is. You gonna respect me or you gonna expect me. Because I don't have to be tolerated or violated by anybody. We have to stop thinking that titles mean entitlement, because it doesn't. That's exactly why I'm getting ready to tell y'all three reasons to cut folks off. Because titles don't mean entitlement. I don't care who you are. I don't care about your title. I'm focusing on your behavior and your patterns. And when your behavior hits one of these three I'm getting ready to tell y'all about, I don't care about your titles, because titles don't mean entitlement. It doesn't. Mama, brother, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, whatever. You do not have a right to violate me. You don't have a right to devastate me. You don't have a right to hurt me. You don't. Them moving away triggered the root of abandonment in you that they didn't plant. Them choosing not to go to the school that you went to, or going to school at all, or following the path that you trailblazed, triggered the root of rejection in you that they didn't plant. Them choosing to follow a different religious path triggered self-righteousness in you that they didn't plant or feed. You ain't gonna have to stand before God for their choices and decisions and they sin. So why does it bother you so much? Them choosing not to marry, or not to get married at all, or not to marry the person you thought that they should best marry, triggered the spirit of narcissism and Jezebel in you that they didn't plant. You can't control people. You can't control who they love, who they marry. You just can't. So you got to ask yourself, why does it bother you so much? You can't control nobody, especially when you ain't financially responsible for them for real. Them choosing to declare a different sexual orientation triggered shame and embarrassment in you. But that's not a reflection of you, or it's no failure in you in any way. And you don't have to like it to love them. Can I say that one more time? You don't have to like it or practice it to love them. I can love you and not love everything that you do. Deal with your own triggers, because ain't nobody gonna keep tiptoeing. Lean in. Ain't nobody gonna keep tiptoeing. Ain't nobody gonna keep tiptoeing around you for their whole life, because you won't go get no help. And you keep getting triggered when people make decisions that's best for them. Now that we got that out of the way, and it was necessary, because some of us keep on hollering that we're gonna cut family off, and the truth of the matter is, you ain't the black sheep, you the problem. Everybody want to think they the black sheep. No, you the problem. Sometimes you the problem. Sometimes you need to keep the scissors close to you, because you the problem. Ask yourself, do you need to adjust your expectations? Do you need to show love and express admiration? Could you use a little improvement in that area? Do you have triggers and have gone so far and so long with them that folks just then gave up on your change and they say that's just how she is? Deal with those before you get to cutting other folks off. Deal with them. Cut that off. Cut them triggers off. That's what you can cut. Okay? Cut that off before you be the one to get cut off. And then all of a sudden you're going to tell everybody, they don't mess with me no more because I tell the truth. No, they don't mess with you no more because you're toxic. I'm always leery about the one that declares himself the black sheep. Because usually the black sheep don't even care. The one that's really the black sheep, they don't even go around saying that they're the black sheep, because they don't care. They're going to make the decisions that's best for them. They're going to live for them. They're going to speak the truth, and they're going to keep it moving. They don't be like, I'm the black sheep. They don't mess with me. They don't like me. No. That's usually the toxic one that starts all the stuff. If I could just be real about it today. I'm just saying. So when do we cut family off? I ain't going to try to hold y'all on here very long. So when do we cut family off? Because sometimes you can cut it off and sometimes you can cut back. Okay? I need y'all to understand that. Sometimes you can cut off and sometimes you can cut back. All right? You don't always need to cut off. Sometimes you just need to cut back, because sometimes folks going through a little something. Okay? Sometimes folks are going through a little something. When I was going through a situation, I wasn't pleasant to be around. I wasn't pleasant to be around. And I thank God that the people who love me didn't cut me off, but instead they said, "What's up? What's going on?" And they gave me some space and let me get back to me. But there was a willingness to get back to me. See, that's the difference. Got to be a willingness there to get back to you. Got to be a willingness there to overcome the toxicity. You got to be a willingness there to get through the situation. Okay? So sometimes you need to cut back and sometimes you need to cut off, and you really need God to help you to know what we doing here. Because God knows the heart of man that we can't see all the time. Okay, we can see their fruits, but he knows the inward. All right. So biblically, let me just set this tone for the people, who believe in the Bible. Okay. There were a few times when God instructed people, or allow his plan to go forward when he let people leave their families. So don't get on here telling me that God, he loves family and he would never have, no, that's a lie. Because over in Genesis, the good book of Genesis 12 chapter, he told Abram, get up and leave your family and go to a place I'm going to send you. He didn't even tell him where to go, but he told him, get away from around your family. He allowed Joseph to be thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and eventually cast into, in Egypt so that he could eventually help the family that he had to leave behind. Even Jesus asked over in Matthew 12:48 through 50, who is my mother? Who's my brother? He pointed to the disciples and he said, look, these are my mother and my brothers. Anyone who does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother, sister, or mother. So when people start telling me that you should accept anything from family, I tell them, oh, no, not so. So number one, you cut off family when they are abusive. Oh, baby, let's go there. Oh, baby, let's go there. You cut off family when they are abusive because, baby, you can't keep talking to folks out the side of your neck and get mad when they open up that other side, okay? And I don't subscribe to violence, but baby, you got to watch your mouth. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Don't let your tongue get you choked up and yoked up out here, okay? That's emotional and verbal abuse. 8 to 80, you can still give respect. I don't care how old you are. You can't call me all kind of names and talk down to me and then wonder why I ain't showing up. You can't keep abusing people and wonder why they don't show up. I don't show up because I don't like the way that you treat me and I have a choice. I have a choice. I don't have to beg nobody to be nowhere as long as I got a house, a roof, a shelter. No, baby, I go home. I go to my house. Okay? You can't call me all kind of names and talk all crazy to me. Oh, no, that ain't gonna work well. If I don't want to take my children around a family pedophile, why you mad? What? That's sexual abuse. Why you mad because I don't want to take my children around a family pedophile? Folks will get mad. That's still family. Who family? You hurt mine. Who family? Who family? You think I'm gonna take my child around and I know what you did to who who family? That's a relative. That's a relative. That's a relative. You can act like he ain't touched everybody in the half if you want to. But why you mad at me because I won't play the game? No, baby, I'm gonna sit this one out. Sexual abuse. Do you understand that half of the folks that's abused in our family wouldn't have been abused if we would have dealt with the situation the first time? If we would have dealt with the situation accordingly? But oh no, nothing has ever been resolved by acting like it didn't happen now, did it? Or we just sweep it up under the rug and tell him to stay in the back room? That ain't gonna work. He got a problem. She got a problem because women be touching too. Why you mad because I won't let you beat the brakes off my kids when I ain't never either seen you whoop yours or I've seen you damage yours? That's physical abuse. You ain't finna hit mine with an iron, lamp, race car tracks. No, or whatever you can find. Whoa. Now we do structured discipline up and through here. Okay. Train up a child in the way that they should go so they don't depart. Okay. However, comma. You done forgot the objective when you start beating folks with lamps and with whatever you can find. You done lost the objective because I thought the objective was to teach a lesson and to understand or discipline is supposed to help to change the behavior. When you get to beating them like they in the streets, discipline without love leads to rebellion. So tell me again how you beating them with race car tracks and all of that, and you don't balance it out with some level of love. How's that gonna help again? So if I don't see it working for yours, no, not mine. So when it gets to the point of abuse, whether it's physical, sexual, emotional, mental, uh-uh, I can cut you off. Not cut back. I can cut you off. I can cut you off. Okay. You can cut family off. Number 2, when they have a poverty mentality and they are not willing to contribute to their growth and development. So if they're not willing to contribute to, now listen to what I said, I'm gonna say it one more time. They have a poverty mentality and they are not willing to contribute to their own growth and development. Now don't misunderstand me. I just told you people do go through ruts. This is why I said you have to know when to cut back and when to cut off. And this is also why I said both having the mentality and not being willing to contribute to their own growth and development. Because, baby, I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. Okay? I'm not going to want it for you. I'm not going to work for you, to get it. And I'm not going to go get it for you. I will cheer for you. I will stand by you. I will work with you. But I'm not going to do it for you because I got to do it for me. And if these people are not willing to contribute to their own growth and development, my question is, what do they have for you? Poverty is not always related to money either. Some people have a poverty mindset in terms of where they think they can go in life, period. They just don't feel like they can do this or that. They think it's so far above them. They think, oh, that's the life that people on TV live. And if you're not careful, they'll start to spew that at you. If that's what you think for yourself, that's what you think for yourself. I never forget a friend of mine told me that this is how much, this is a good salary, and this is about the most that you're gonna make anywhere. Who is you? Who? That's gonna be what I make per month. I'm gonna make that per month. I'm gonna make more than that per month. That's not what I'm gonna make per year. That's what I'm gonna make per month. You don't let nobody speak that over you. And they didn't mean no harm. No, not at all. But sometimes you just have to let a person know, I dream a little bigger. I go a little higher. I go a little deeper for what I want. God told Abram, no. Before I even get to that point, understand that poverty isn't always related to money, because another part of poverty is wanting to get drunk and high all the time. People like, yeah, they don't come over my house to see me. Baby, all y'all do is get drunk, fight, and tear up stuff. Who wants to be bothered with that? I don't want to keep watching that show. That show is old. My auntie watch Good Times like she don't know they never gonna make it out the projects. She be watching it and she be so surprised at the end of every show. And I'll be just saying to myself, now I know you done watched all of these. She watched all the Good Times like they gonna get out. And I'll be thinking, girl, I already watched that show. I'm not gonna keep coming over for y'all to fight and argue and tear up stuff. Who wants to be bothered with that all the time? Understand me. But I'm not going to be bothered with nobody that's stuck at what we were doing at 25. Listen, a person only relives the past when they don't see anything in the future. So if a person don't see anything in the future, they're going to keep on reliving the past. And there are some people who were so popular in high school, they still there. There's some people who had money back in the day and they still there because they broke today. So they like, I ain't finna come to today. I'm gonna go ahead and keep on talking about when I was the man or when I was that chick. When I was fine. I used to be fine. Well, what we working on now? Because just saying. So that's stuck at what we doing when we were 25. I'm not going to be bothered with that. And then keeping up a whole bunch of drama and trauma. I don't want to be bothered with that. So understand that's all a part of poverty mentality. And when a person decides that that's where they want to stay, it's hard, but everybody can't go with you or else you won't go either. And everybody don't want to go. And some people want you to stay. So you have to make a hard decision sometime to go. God told Abram, he said, listen, you called to a new place, just like Joseph was called to a new place because they needed to grow and develop. And baby, understand me, if you don't hear anything else, an atmosphere of abuse will choke the enthusiasm out of you. An atmosphere of poverty will choke the motivation out of you. These type of atmospheres will choke the determination out of you. It would choke it out of you faster than you can blink. So whether it's a poverty mentality and they're not willing to change, or if it's abuse, you can cut them off. You can cut them off. And last but not least, they are jealous and manipulative. They are jealous and manipulative or manipulative. Again, caution here because some of us are paranoid due to our own trauma. Okay. Some of y'all, some folks are not jealous of you, but you think they are for some weird reason. So I'm not talking to y'all that be stretching. I'm talking about stretching. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not talking to y'all that still talking about that one thing that happened back in the day and they jealous of you. I'm not talking to the one that think everybody jealous of you. No. I'm not talking about the one that's paranoid due to their own trauma. I'm talking about the ones that hear comments like this. What up, big money? You got it. You got all the money. When you hear stuff like that, be careful. You got all this. See, because when them comments start, I'm about finished. Okay? When them comments start, you got all the money. I'm about finished. Because it's sometimes the ones you kiss that hiss. You hear me? Sometimes it's the ones that you kiss that hiss. Can somebody type that in the chat? You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes it's the ones you kiss that hiss. Cain and Abel, Joseph's brothers, even Mary and Martha. Whether they spoke on the person or they killed the person, understand that jealousy in the Bible often preceded murder. And if we honest, jealousy in life often precedes murder of some type, whether it's through you murdering them with your mouth or murdering them in action, like really killing them. Even if we look naturally, how many murders and arguments have envy been responsible for? Even if we can take it biblically. In James 3:16, it says that where envy and strife is, there's confusion and every evil work. So when somebody is jealous of you or want to manipulate you, you got to get away from around them. Quickly. Because I told you, it just James 3:16 says where envy and strife is, confusion and every evil work abides. You got to get away from around them. So here's my disclaimer. Don't be willing to cut family off without praying and basing it on a pattern of behaviors. You know, now, even if somebody abuses, even sexual abuse doesn't happen once. That person usually did it to several people. So that's a pattern. They don't have to do it to you at all. They don't have to do it to you once. They don't have to do it to you at all. But it's a pattern. If you know this person has already done this, if you know it's already a pattern, I don't need to see nothing else. I don't need to hear nothing else. When I know for a fact, now get facts. Don't get, I think they might have. No, facts. Number one, we need facts. Number two, we need to base it off of a pattern of behaviors and not just one time a person had a bad day and all of a sudden they jealous of you. Cut it out. We are not what we do once. Typically, we are what we repeatedly do. And we're not perfect. So we got to remember, just like we're not perfect and we need some grace sometimes, then we need to extend that too. But hold on. There's a difference between you had a rough day versus you just lacerate people all the time. You just cut people up all the time. You just dog people out all the time. That's abuse. Even if you were touched as a child, I don't mean you need to touch me. That's abuse. So we gotta look at these things and be able to rightfully divide this stuff, because sometimes we just go to the extremes on the wrong end sometimes. So our prayer should be to receive wisdom on when to extend grace and when to extend a goodbye, when to cut back and when to cut off. Okay. So again, just a quick recap. When do we cut them off? Number one, when they are abusive, whether it's emotional or verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. Number two, when they have a poverty mentality, whether that's getting drunk and fighting and tearing up and all that type of stuff, or if it's wanting to do the same thing all the time that we did when we was in third grade. Baby, we not in third grade no more. We got to move on now, right? And then last but not least, when they jealous or manipulative, because jealousy always precedes some level of murder, whether it's murdering you with their mouth because they start hating on you and start speaking ill over you. Do you understand? Witchcraft can be spoken over you. So they can speak curses over you. So whether they speak curses over you or speak death over you, or they physically kill you, because it's a lot of people who have been physically killed because they didn't get away from around that person because they figured, well, that's my so-and-so, that's my cousin. Once again, titles don't mean entitlement. If I feel like you jealous of me, and I mean, I got hardcore proof that you jealous of me, and you start that, what up, big money stuff, hey, yeah, I'm gonna get away from around you quickly. I'm gonna get away from around you very quick. Because like I said, sometimes it's the ones you kiss that hiss. I get away from around you. All right. And so again, we need God's guidance on when to extend grace and when to extend goodbye. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Again, like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know this was good to you. And I appreciate you guys. And I want you to have a great evening. You already know how now. On purpose. God bless you.